Good evening, ladies as well as gentlemen. Papa Boris here with some more Human Resource Machine. In this video, we're going to do puzzle number 28. We're actually going to come back to it after having done a whole lot of other stuff and pick it up before we move on. I'm going to be level with you. This is not my favorite puzzle. It was one that I was able to solve on my own. It did take me a while to figure it all out. At the end of the day, this isn't a particularly interesting puzzle algorithmically. It's just a lot of brute forcing code. But anyway, I'll show you how it's done, so you can decide for yourself. But basically, if you get bored, it's because this puzzle's pretty boring, and you can just quit and watch the next video. Yay! Okay, so our task is just to sort the three things that are coming into the inbox and send them out in the order from smallest to largest. So there's two main ways that you can do this. I don't think it's possible to optimize both for speed and size in one program, because sorting is a very computationally intensive task. So we're going to go ahead and do the one that optimizes for size first, and then I'll show you the one optimizing for speed. This is going to be a long one because it's just a lot of grunt work. Grueling grunt work to get this one done. So if we're going to do this, the proper way, to optimize for size, we're going to have our three slots called small, medium, and large. And what I'm going to do is take my inputs, copy them, or copy the first three numbers to the small, medium, and large places. And now what I actually have to do is, test whether these numbers are in the correct order. So the way that I'm going to do it is I'm going to, and let me actually show you with a drawing here. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to compare the large number to the medium number. And if that's correct, then I'm going to compare the medium number to the small number. And if that's correct, then that means I'm ready to submit. Because if large is bigger than medium and medium is bigger than small, then that means that we've got things in the correct order. But of course, if the large number is not bigger than the medium number, like this, then I need to swap the two of them. So my 2 and the 3 have to switch places. And then if the medium number is not smaller than the small number, then I need to have those two numbers swap places. Now you can see the issue here. After I swap my medium with my small, I really do need to kind of go back to the beginning and swap my large with my medium again in order to make sure that the number that I initially had in my small spot wasn't actually the largest of all the numbers. But once I make that swap, then I check the medium versus small again, and then I'm good to go. This is, I'm gonna just be a walking shame to all of my computer science brethren if I'm wrong on this, but I believe this is called bubble sort, this sorting algorithm. And it works here, although bubble sort is a terrible algorithm generally. It works here because we have a very small and fixed number of numbers that we are testing. You can imagine if you had to bubble the number all the way from the beginning to the end in a list of 10 numbers, it would be just a terrible way of doing things. But anywho, let's go ahead and start the process. So after I copy to the large, I'm going to go ahead and copy from large and compare it to the medium. And you might say, Boris, wait a minute, why are you doing that? You were just holding the number in your hand. The reason is we're going to be jumping back here eventually. Like you saw in the algorithm, we have to jump back and check large versus medium again. So I need this little bit of redundancy here. Now, if this is negative, in other words, if my large number is actually smaller than my medium number, then I need to swap them. So this is going to be a little bit of annoying writing here, but having the comments for this huge program is actually pretty handy. We're going to swap medium and large. Hopefully that's remotely readable. Yeah, it's pretty readable. And I'll write that code later on. Then if it's not negative, if the large number is indeed bigger than the medium one, we're going to take the medium number and subtract the small. And if that's negative, that means my medium number is bigger than my small. We're going to go ahead and write some code later on here to swap medium. Oh, that turned out a lot more readable. Medium and small. But if my large number is bigger than the medium, so I don't jump, and then my medium number is bigger than my small, so again, I don't jump, then in here, what I'm going to do is actually submit. That means I'm ready to go. And submitting is the code I'm going to write first because it's super, super easy. We just copy the small number, outbox that shit, copy the medium number, outbox that shit, copy the large number, Send it to the outbox, and then, whoops, wrong place. And then we're gonna jump back to the beginning and get the next triplet of numbers. So all we have to do now really is just write the code for what happens if we have to swap medium and large and swap medium and small. We'll start with swapping the medium and the large. This is actually kind of surprising if you're someone who hasn't studied any computer science, but, well, it's actually still kind of surprising even to me when I think about it, but swapping two numbers is actually like a kind of difficult thing to do in programming. It really takes a lot of steps, because I can't just copy the medium number and put it in the large space, because if I did that, then I'd lose my large number. So first what I have to do is I have to copy my large number and save it in a temporary location. But now I can't copy it to the medium number because then I'd lose the medium number. So I have to copy the medium number, save it to the large location, then copy the temporary number, which was the large number that I had saved, and put it in the medium location. And now they're swapped. And after I finish all this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump to the part of the code where I check now that the large and the medium number have been sorted, and at least the two of those are in the correct order. I check whether the medium number is, smaller than the small number. So let's go ahead and take care of that. Where we're swapping medium and small, we do a very similar thing. We copy the medium, save it to the temporary variable, copy the small, save it to the medium variable. Then we take our temporary variable, which is the medium number, copy it to the small, and we're ready to jump. And here's, where you kind of have to decide where do you jump. At this point, we actually have to jump all the way back to here. And the reason for that is that after I get my medium and my small number sorted, I actually have to go back and check my large number against the new medium number to see if the new medium number has to keep on, bubbling back. I hope this is correct. I don't feel like I've missed anything, but I'm sure I did. So let's just start this program, see where I forgot to do whatever the hell it is that I forgot to do, and then we'll fix it. Okay, so let me actually do a step-by-step thing here, because you can see this first triplet of numbers is in the wrong order. So what's going to happen is I check large versus medium, it totally fails, so I have to swap the two of them. I copy the large to the temporary variable. Let me just speed that up a little bit. Put the medium where the large was, put the large where the medium was. Now I go here, where I take the medium variable, subtract my small. That's negative again, so I now need to jump to this part of the code where I swap medium with small. Hop, hop. Okay, but you see now, because my biggest number was in the small space to start with, we have to jump all the way back to the beginning of this process, where I check the large versus the medium, and I'm like, whoops-a-daisy, that don't work. So I take the large, swap it with the medium. And now, I'm going to check the medium versus the small. You might notice this is actually a little bit inefficient because I've already checked the 5 and the 1 against each other. So I'm actually wasting time here with this copying, this subtraction, and this jump. But I haven't been able to find a way to work around that. And besides, I really do believe that if you're going through this algorithmic approach with a small, medium, and large, you're not going to beat the optimization anyhow. So I don't really care that we're doing this totally unnecessary check. But it's not negative. So we submit, take our small number, outbox it, take our medium number, outbox it, take a large number, outbox it, and we go back to the beginning. All right, let's take a quick look at what happens if you have numbers in the correct order, and then I think from there I'm just gonna let the algorithm run itself. Okay, so in this case, I take my large and I subtract the medium. Oh, not negative, so no problem. So I take my medium, subtract the small, not negative, no problem, so I just submit. And can I actually delete this copy from small? No, of course I need to have this. Yeah, I need to have that. That's because I'm doing a subtraction before I get there. Don't know what the hell I was thinking. Okay, well let's just run it and see what the hell happens. If there's a mistake, then I'll try to debug and fix it. If I get the dreaded message. Okay, good. No dreaded messages. So yeah, that's the size optimization. Oh, I actually beat it by 1. That's cute. I don't know. I don't even know where you'd need an extra space, but whatever. So that's the size, but as you can see, the speed is just terrific. Now, the reason the speed is terrific is we're doing these swaps. Swap is just like the bane of speed optimization. You just never want to swap variables if you don't have to. So how do we solve this if we want to actually, complete the speed optimization? Well, basically, the way that we're going to do this is we're going to have like a bajillion lines of code, and we're basically going to use the code to remember where we are in the sorting process. So for this algorithm, I'm just going to have my numbers called 1, 2, and 3. I could have had them called like A, B, and C. It doesn't really matter. The point is that these are not sorted positions. These are just my 3 numbers. So I take my first number. Okay, that's number 1. Then I take my second number. I'm going to copy it to 2. And there's a little trick you can do here. Right now, I'm just going to compare it to the first number immediately, because I just copied it to 2 and I'm still holding it in my hand. So I'm just going to check it against the first number. Now, if this result is negative, what that means is that 2 is less than 1. If the result is not negative, what that means is that 1 is less than 2. And I'm always going to write it with a less than sign. I don't want to write like 2 is greater than 1, because we're sorting from smallest to biggest. So I always want my smallest number on the left and my biggest number on the right. Okay, so in both of these cases, I'm actually going to do the same exact thing. In both cases, I'm going to take my third number and save it as our number 3. There actually might be a way to avoid this. I'm not sure. I think you really do need to save the third number, but that might not be the case. Anyway, so in this case, what I'm going to do after saving the number to the 3 spot is I'm going to subtract the second number from it, and then we're going to check this. So here, if 3 minus 2 produces a negative, that means that we're in a case where, let me just make sure I get this right. Yeah, if 3 is smaller than 2, what that means is that 1 is smaller than 2 and 3 is smaller than 2. So I actually can't output yet because I need to check 1 and 3. But if 3 minus 2 is not a negative number, that means that 1 is smaller than 2 and 2 is smaller than 3. You'll notice here I don't actually have to do any more checking. I'm ready to output. I can, whoops, that's not the right number. I take the number 1, outbox it, take the number 2, outbox it, take the number 3, outbox it, and I'm done. Now, I highly recommend for this program, like I said before, to write these comments, because you're going to have 6 different possibilities. There's 3 different numbers that can go in the first spot, 2 that can go in the second spot, and 1 in the third, and 3 times 2 is 6. So you're gonna, when you're writing this program, you can keep an eye on it like this. You're gonna end up having 6 different ribbons of orders between numbers 1, 2, and 3, and if you have anything less than 6, you know that your program is not done yet. Anyhow, let's go ahead and fill in this part though. If 1 is less than 2 and 3 is less than 2, then what I have to do is I have to compare 3 and 1. It doesn't really matter what order you do this in, but I copy from, actually let me put this right here. So I copy from 3, subtract 1. If it's negative, then that means we're in a situation where 3 is less than 1, is less than 2. And if it's not negative, that means we're in a situation where 1 is less than 3, is less than 2. So we got, 1, 2, 3 of our ribbons all done here. At this point, it's a lot of grunt work. We take the number 1, outbox it, then we take the number 3 and outbox it, and then the number 2 and outbox it. So you can see I'm writing a quintillion lines of code, but this is going to end up being much faster because I'm never swapping the variables. Like, I'm not actually sorting here. I'm just brute forcing the problem, and that must be what was intended. Because I don't know how you can really use an algorithm to beat this thing. Because if you basically ever have to swap 2 numbers, you're screwed. And believe me, I tried a lot on this puzzle. Anyhow, so right here. Wait a minute. I feel like I haven't. Have I done all these? 1, 2. Oh yeah, right. This one I haven't done yet. Okay, so then we copy from 3, outbox it, copy from 1, outbox it, copy from 2, outbox it, and we're done. Ugh, okay. So that's 3 of them done. We're halfway there. Whoa, living on a prayer. Now we have to go back to this place where 2 is less than 1. So if 2 is less than 1, then I don't think I've taken the number 3 yet, have I? Yeah, so I take my third number from the input, and this time I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to compare it to number 1, and oh yeah, I need to actually save it. Definitely want to save that first. So at this point, if I'm getting a negative result, that's actually not good, because what that means is that 2 is less than 1 and 3 is less than 1, which blows. However, if I don't get a negative result, that means that 2 is less than 1 and 1 is less than 3, which is perfect because I can actually submit this. I take my second number, which is the smallest, I outbox it, I take my 1, which is the second smallest, I outbox it. I take 3, which was the biggest. I outbox that. Jump back to the beginning. And now we just got to do this last little bit here. Notice here I got to compare the numbers 2 and 3. So it doesn't matter what order you do this in, as long as you just keep track of what you're doing. So I take 3, I subtract 2 if that's negative. It means that 3 is the smallest, so 3, then 2, then 1. If it's not negative, that means that 2, then 3, then 1. Although if I'm being sloppy and making a mistake here, I apologize, but it'll come up in testing, and we'll be able to debug it. So 2, yeah, then 3, then 1. And we jump to the beginning. Whoop. And finally 3. Then 2. Then 1. And back to the beginning. So I might have made a mistake somewhere, and if so, I apologize, but you'll notice we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6 blocks we're submitting, and they should all be different, so hopefully that works. Let's take a quick look at this in action. I'm not going to do it step by step. Notice we're not doing any jumping. The only jumping that we're doing here is when we subtract numbers and we're doing a test. That's the only time we ever jump. The only time we ever jump is after doing a test. We jump to see which one's, whether it's negative or not. And then when we're done with our output, we jump back to the beginning, of course. But other than that, this doesn't have any jumping, and it doesn't have any variable swapping. The only thing that we're doing are copies and subtractions. So that makes this a much faster process. So here we had a good case where after just doing 2 subtractions, we were able to submit our numbers. Let's speed this up a little bit. So 8, 9, and -1. So -1, 8, 9. And then 2 smaller than 7. 1's the smallest. Bada boom, bada bing. Bada done. Okay, so that took about 17 minutes to do this whole thing. We managed to optimize it here. Of course, the size is horrific. But that's how you do 3-sort. It's, it's weird. It took me a long time to get this. I don't know why. Like, looking back on it now, it all seems so simple. So, not the hardest puzzle in the game, but certainly one of the ones that requires the most brute force. And with that, we end. Thank you very much, folks, for watching this. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like and/or subscribe. I don't think there's a whole lot left here. We got to do the Prime Factory and the sorting floor, so that'll be in the next 2 videos. I'll see you guys soon. Take care.